Three, two, one. Roll the footage. All right, welcome to the Strategy Show. Today we explore with the CEO of Repic global growth, the mindset of abundance, and the power of storytelling. Welcome, everybody, Justin Breen.
Hello, hello.
Justin, what are you currently creating?
Yeah, I'm creating a fun morning with my kids before they go to school. But so launched a second company called Brepic Network that's very collaborative with the first one I started about 4.5 years ago with Brepic. So very excited about that.
And who do you help and how do you help them?
Yeah, it's a fair, simple question, and I'm a simplifier, so I like simple questions. So the purpose of my life is to be a connecting superhero for every visionary, abundance, investment mindset entrepreneur, and share their stories with the world. So besides hang out with my family and friends, that's it. 100% of my day is doing that for those people.
It sounds great, but I don't know who you help and how you help.
Right. So visionary abundance investment mindset entrepreneurs. So again, I'm a simplifier. So when you're a visionary abundance investment mindset, you can only be one of two types of people because I simplify everything and turn it into patterns. That's so the people who have visionary abundance investment mindset, you're either running a high six figure to 10-figure business, US dollars, see your family and friends whenever you want to, you do what you like to do and what you're good at, or you're going to be one of those people. You're not there revenue profit wise, but you will be. So there's no what do you cost or charge, there's no nickel and diming, there's no gimmicks, there's what does an investment with you look like. So just eliminates all the noise and nonsense that most people are operating in and just attracts the top people on the planet.
Cool. Tell us about some of the projects that you are up to.
Right. So it's again, I'm 100% simplifier. So if it's not within the purpose of my life, there's, I just don't do it. So with Brepic, I was a journalist for 20 years and created my entire business model based on how PR firms annoyed me for 20 years. So I don't know what PR firms do other than annoy journalists. So created a solution to that problem, solved it, successful global company. So clients around the world, only visionaries who live in abundance and look at things as investments, not cost. Um, and solopreneurs, the company's as big as Allstate, so it doesn't really matter where you live. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter how big the company is. Do you have this mindset or not? Are you going to make the investment? Are you going to make the excuse? And then the second company, which I'm building with a business partner, we met virtually. First time we actually met in person was at the big launch party I just threw at the Chicago Yacht Club, where we had entrepreneurs and visionaries from around the world that came. It's just technology for my brain, so it's just a platform for visionaries who live in abundance and look at things as investments, not costs, and they just want the connection.
What are three books that inspired you recently?
Yeah, I appreciate you sending me the questions, and 99.9% of the time I don't read those. This is the 0.1% time that I did, because I prefer organic interviews to question interviews. But the one question I really liked was the books one, because I just finished it, and I'm a simplifier, so one to me is better than three. So the one I just finished was Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. For those who don't know, it sold 12 million copies. Viktor Frankl, Austrian, by the way, Austrian. He survived the Holocaust, and then yeah, so he talked about being in the Holocaust, but then also the psychological aspects of life and search for meaning. And I kind of like fly the plane, so I don't really like I hate the what do you cost transactional world. So I just like to fly the plane in the investment abundance world. And this book was really helpful for really understanding that. The two main points were without a bigger and better future, the prisoner would just die. So the key for entrepreneur world and any world is just to create a bigger, better future. Otherwise, you lose a search for meaning. And then the second point from that book is, most people think that like fear and annoyance and like tension are a distraction to getting things done, or to pushing yourself to the next level. But Man's Search for Meaning, it talks about that tension is actually essential. It's essential for finding meaning. So anytime I feel fear or tension with first company or starting second company, I'm like, oh, that's an essential part. You have to have that. You must have that, to find that meaning and to create the bigger and better things. So I just flipped the script, with the help from that book as well.
Cool. Any more books that touched you recently?
Right, sure. So you stick to the script. You're the opposite of me. That's funny because I appreciate you stick to the script. I'm the opposite of sticking to the script. I'm like all organic, and I was a journalist for 20 years. I never came prepared for any questions, with any questions ever. And I've interviewed thousands of the top people on the planet. I spent my whole life interviewing people. I never had prepared questions. So the two questions I had were, what do your parents do, or what did they do? Because if people understand where they came from, they know who. If you understand where you come from, you know who you are, then you know where you're going. But you have to understand who you come from. And then the last question I would always ask is there something else you'd like to add, something that would be good for the story? Other than that, I never came prepared with anything, because I would say something and then they would say something else, and then I wouldn't follow the script.
And go directly to your
But it's hilarious because I'll answer your question though. I'm just saying, like, this is why it's hard for me, because like literally I spent my entire life interviewing people the exact opposite way. And I'm usually not the one answering the questions. I'm the one asking them, and it confused me. So, but the other book that's really good, that had been my favorite one, is Mastery by Robert Greene. Mastery by Robert Greene. It's a New York Times bestseller. And he interviewed all the masters, whether they were alive. If they were dead, he'd do anecdotal evidence. So like Ben Franklin or Da Vinci, how they became masters. And it was interesting because the ones that were long gone, without exception, because I simplify everything, I see patterns, I just see that. But without exception, their fathers, because only the men worked at the time, their fathers were high-performing entrepreneurs or business leaders. And then the sons, without exception, they learned that, and then without exception, they rebelled. They rebelled and created their own thing. So my sons are 9 and 7, and I'm high-performing entrepreneurs, so they can learn this world, and then without exception, they'll rebel, and then I can't wait for them to rebel, because that's how they can become bigger and better. So I'm actually excited for them to rebel. That's the thing I got out of that book.
What are you excited about your business looking forward?
Well, this is so sometimes I answer the questions before they're asked. That's what I mean with Man's Search for Meaning, because I just keep creating bigger and better futures. So it's endless excitement. The word retirement to me, even though I just said it, doesn't exist. I don't even understand the word retirement. It doesn't make any sense. But with the first company, which I started with zero business background, zero. I still don't know what an S corp is. I didn't know you had to pay taxes 4 times a year in the U.S. I had no idea. I mean, I'm just a journalist. So now it's a global company that only works with the top people on the planet, or the ones that'll make the investment to become those people. And the key is that once you find people like that, they just introduce you to more people like that. So I haven't done outbound sales or gimmicks or marketing and none of that stuff in years, because I just create value for the highest performing people on the planet, and then they just create value for me. So it just bypasses all these gimmicks that most people are living in. It just eliminates that. And I partner with basically the 0.1%. The 0.1%. And so most people, well, not all, but most people think that's a small number, 1 out of 1,000. I'm like, no, you don't understand. 0.1% out of 8 billion people is 8 million. And 8 million people, that's a lot of people. And those 8 million people are the ones that create the technologies and the ideas that employ everyone else. So I just partner with the people that create everything and do everything that employs everyone else. So it just eliminates 999 of 1,000, but the one out of 1,000, the ones that'll actually do it and make the investment.
Our listeners are business owners. You seem to have found things that work for you. What's one thing that you want to share with them so they can also do it?
Yeah, I appreciate that. So I don't care about revenue or profit at all. It's totally meaningless to me. Most people, that's what they care about. I just literally don't care about it. I don't care about office space, employee count. All I care about is 10xing experiences in life with my family. If you have a good family life, you have a good life. I haven't met an exception to that. And then two, network on a global level. When you increase your network on a global level, you create endless opportunities for your network and yourself. So the byproduct of that is no outbound sales or anything in years. Just the top people on the planet, they're either introduced to me or they're like, hey, would want to talk. Let's go. And because they live in visionary abundance investment mindset world, they don't ask, what do you cost? They don't nickel and dime. They say, let's go. What does an investment with you look like? So, to simplify that simplification, if someone asks me, what do you cost or charge, I'll never talk to that person again. And then what I hear over and over now is, what does an investment with you look like? That's what I hear. So if you hear that, that's a good thing. What does an investment with you look like?
All right. Where can people find more of you? Where do you hang out?
Hang out. It's rainy today, so otherwise I'd be in my backyard. So either in my house or backyard or at soccer games, but virtually LinkedIn. LinkedIn's good. Justin Breen on LinkedIn's a good place. And then first company's called Brepic, new one's called Brepic Network. So it'll just keep growing and growing, and I'm very excited about that.
Who should be my next guest?
That's the second one I really thought about. I'm going to introduce you to Sharon Sloan right after this. And Sharon runs a really interesting, fascinating video marketing company, Tutorial. So she partners with some of the biggest brands on the planet and makes really great videos for them. Tutorial type things. So I'll introduce you to her. She's very high level, and you'll like talking to her.
Super cool. You hang out in some of the most prestigious mastermind on the planet. Can you share how you pick them, why you do it?
That's a really good question. That's a good one. And I'll just give you some background real quick. So I don't like to say anything unless it actually means something. Most people talk and there's no meaning behind it. I actually don't like to talk a lot unless there's actually something to say. So again, most people care about revenue profit. I don't care about that at all. I don't care about it at all. But so last year, 2020, easily had record profit for my company. Easily, like over the previous 3 years. And then in August of this year, easily passed last year's record profit total, doing less work, much less work. And I don't work at all, but what most people think is work, less work. Talking to far fewer people because I'm in this investment visionary abundance world and just doing what I like to do and I'm good at. So how did that happen? And so that, to answer your question, one, I married my wife. She's the ultimate stabilizer. She allows me to fly the plane. And then two, to directly answer your question, I'm in Strategic Coach 10X, Dan Sullivan. That's Dan Sullivan. He's a top entrepreneurial coach who's ever lived. I'm very, very confident saying that. And then the other one I spend a lot of time in is Abundance 360 Summit, Peter Diamandis. At the level I'm at, and again, I don't care about this at all, but most people do. The level I'm at, 99% of the folks are running $10 million to $10 billion companies, and I need to be in a room like that. Otherwise, I get very bored. I get very bored very quickly. Okay, so to land the plane, U.S. dollars, those groups combined are about 50K total a year to invest in. I'd easily invest 50K each in those a year, easily, because it eliminates the noise and nonsense that most people are, and it just, and that's where my mindset is. So when you're in a room with the top people in the world, you become a top person in the world. So you make the investment. You don't look at it as a cost. You just make the investment.
Thank you, Justin, for sharing your journey, your wisdom with us. Please come back soon.
Thank you, my friend.
Avoid trying to do thousands of things that doesn't work. We have 274 templates for your business success. Reach your ambitious goals with one-on-one sprint coach. We double your revenue in 90 days.